Hey, um, you know that song She Used to Be Mine by Sarah Bareilles? You must, because it's like this is a new song to me, even though I love Sarah Bareilles. I love Love Song, I love Gravity. I love so many of her songs, but I haven't ever heard this song, and this song came to me. And so I'm assuming this is for you. And it is a beautiful song and it resonates so much for me. Um, so thank you, whoever's guys that I'm also in contact with for dropping your Spotify list. Um, this song has been it's new to me for the past like little bit of time. It was given to me to sing um, for some karaoke, y'all. We do karaoke. Um, But this is a song that came up in my head, like that just came up this morning specifically. I don't know the lyrics all the way, so I had to pull it up to be like, so I know parts of it, because I can hear a song and kind of be like, oh, I see how it goes. And so your guides are telling you, just go look up the song. Just go look up the song and experience it. If you don't already have some type of significant relationship with it, to remind yourself to be yourself. Um, as you can see, this is my slept on hair. So, in the morning is the best instant conversation. And really, whenever it comes down to it, it is about this duality that you're experiencing in life right now. It's scary and it's tricky because, like, maybe you've been through a lot where things kind of had to be a bit more black and white. And even like through this like journey that you've been on, you figured out how to like set boundaries. It was 232 as I said that, as I was saying that. You're figuring out how to set these boundaries. So it does need to be a little bit black and white, 242. And now that you're in this safe zone, you're finally able to experience some gray, and not only gray but the other colors in between black and white, because they still exist in the spectrum. Okay, so the colors are there, the colors are there. And this is your life now. You get to be all the things, you get to wear many different hats, you get to have it all because there is enough room for it. Like, you're realizing that all these things, the lack of self-care in the past, the sometimes even now that we slip into, because that's normal, that's part of it's an ebb and a flow. It has all been this journey to learn how to not only love yourself but love everything that the world is, and see things through love in a way that is so healing. And there's this YouTuber that I watch. Her name's Jadina, and she talks about it. Um, Being able to heal so deeply that it's through the past, like you're healing the past, the future, you're healing generations. 414, as I say that, it is something that like you've been so thirsty in the desert for, and finally you get a drop of water, and it is so sweet. Or after you have been running for so long and finally you're able to slow down and get that first real breath that feels like a relief, not like you're trying to catch up to breathe. It's when your heart is pounding and it finally settles and you don't feel it rattling your chest anymore. You learned so much. You went through this spiritual gymnasium of trauma. And the thing is everybody has suffering. Everybody has trauma. Trauma is, for me, by definition, the worst thing that has ever happened in your life. So it is equivalent in so many ways, especially on that soul specifically for the assignments it needs in order to learn the things it needs, in order to have the experiences it needs, so then the universe can experience itself. Um, and your trauma was kind of wacko crazy doodle, is what I'm gonna say. I don't know who you are specifically, but your stuff was rough. And perhaps, like, it even makes me like feel like thinking about it. Makes me feel the I want to go home feeling, because it was rough. And what the fuck? Like, why did that happen? Especially with these things going on in the past like month or so, we've had a lot of moons mooning and eclipses eclipsing, and that really brought so much to the surface, because now you're at a point where you are safe enough to deal with it and work through it. And you've already done so much shadow work. So your spirit is already doing great things. It's already growing. You're at the point where you can get to this point to understand this new thing about trauma. 636, as I say this. The the biggest hurdle was getting rid of all the shame that comes with this lifetime, not only in the society that we're in, but also in the lifetime that was almost instilled in you to control you. And then you use that same shame to control yourself, and sometimes, and things that we regret, to control other people. And so there's like this thing where we're feeling like, one, we're mad at ourselves for almost not necessarily becoming the same person, but becoming someone who did harm in any way. And you were hurting. It's not an excuse. You are understanding and you are comprehending the cycle. And that's what this has become. It was 737 as I was saying that. Comprehension of the cycle is so much more important. And sometimes shame gets in the way of that. You have gotten to this point where you have forgiven yourself. And oh my gosh, Shadina talks about this too, 757. Go check out Shadina. Jhadina. Go find her. Anyway, but it's just how this is meant to be. These are the steps in which you understand that these are the steps in which this specific cycle takes place. And because you comprehend it, you can stop it at any point in the cycle, figuring out which one of these things is actually the weak link in the chain. Um, and sometimes that's really what it is. So, like, there's a lot of things that come up for me, whenever, like, that I can't really say on here and stuff, but the types of abuse, especially, like, this is like so specific. I mean, it's not specific, unfortunately. This isn't specific enough because it's so often it happens. But people who have specifically been through SA or any type of like childhood trauma, dealing with that, your journey is within breaking that cycle. There's already many ways that you have not perpetuated that cycle by not victimizing people in the same way. And sometimes when those victimizations have happened in the past, there's still this need of control. And so then that control then leads to other types of predatory behavior, not necessarily calling anyone a predator, but like, say, we will be more of a bully. sometimes while we're dealing with stuff. Or perhaps getting into fights. There's plenty of a lovely list of symptoms that happen in response to such a complicated and devastating thing. Tintin, as I was saying that, um, that is just so confusing and incomparable when it comes to anything that has happened in your life prior to that, because it's just like confusing. And some people don't know a life without those knowledges, unfortunately. And so now that you're at this place in your life, finally your child self is like leaning on yourself and saying, hey, I trust you to guide us. I trust you as the adult to lead us, as opposed to me, myself, who created all these barriers as a kid to help us. Um, and because that was already built by them, you realize it's time to be done. 11:11, as I say this, it's time to be done leaning on the child and the inner child, and letting the inner child be free with happiness, because you can now. You can now. And so the ways that we do that, and the ways that you are specifically doing it, 11:33, is you are having more fun, and you are still trying things out, and it's almost like you're triggering yourself on purpose. Um, and we do this. It's normal to do this. Or we're like, okay, well, what's this about? What's this about? Just to see what's going on. 11:55. The only the only thing that is able to push you through this, or has been able to push you through this, has been your kindness to yourself. And I think there's some, like, you're having to be reminded really quick how kind you have been to yourself in comparison to how you were. You've been really, really nice to yourself. You have slowly been growing, and it's hard to remember like that all these tiny steps have been made, but you've been making the tiny steps. And like, look behind you and be like, oh dang, I was standing right next to that tree, and now I'm way over here on the top of a foothill. You've done that one step at a time. You have figured it out. Now, maybe it's in a specific direction, to a specific destination, to this specific, maybe it's just to another spot under a different tree. But you've done it. You're almost there. You're almost halfway to that tree, or perhaps you're right under that tree at the top of the hill. It's a perfect spot so you can see everything, so you can relax. And it's a sitting point. You don't live under that tree. It's still a part of the journey. It's beautiful and it's gorgeous and it's rest and it's nice. And you've done so much work that has prepped you for this. All those previous steps made it possible for for your muscles to grow and for your body to get used to that type of movement. So then, whenever you are done resting and it's time to get up again, you can then take those steps and then some, because that's how amazing the soul is. This is a soul body that I'm talking about. Okay. If you haven't analogied with me, that was analogy. Oh, I'm all sweaty. That's okay. It's not warm in here enough to be for me to be sweaty. So, in this journey that you have been on and continue to be on, your guides are with you. And they're singing songs to you. And so go ahead and go listen to She Used to Be Mine. I'm going to learn it so I can sing it at karaoke. And in the meantime, you go do things that are fun for you. For me, it is karaoke. My mom bought me a karaoke machine, and I would just sit in my room looking at that little screen, singing my song. Beautiful by Christina Aguilera. Go listen to that one too, honestly. Go listen to Beautiful. Go listen to Beautiful. Those are the assignments. And no, there's 3 assignments. Okay. Go check out Jadina. JHADINA. If you're listening to my stuff, you might as well just go check her out too. I'm just saying. Jadina does not know me. But I have seen her videos and she has inspired me to do this. So anyway, go listen to She Used to Be Mine by Sarah Bareilles. I think it's from a musical. But I don't know. Ooh, guys, I told you I was sweating. This is what happens. I am a water sign, y'all. So whenever I start talking to spirit, my pits be dripping. Gross. Third assignment is go listen to Beautiful by Christina Aguilera. And then you know what? Fourth assignment right here. Look out for the numbers and stay synchronized.